The economy has declined by 3.2% in the first quarter of the year. That's the biggest quarterly contraction in 10 years. Stats South Africa says the manufacturing industry and the mining and quarry industry were the largest negative contributors to growth in the first quarter. The agriculture, forestry and fishing industry contracted by 13.2%. The two largest positive contributions to growth came from food, non-alcoholic beverages and housing services. Some good news for taxpayers. The new SARS Commissioner, Edward Kisweta, today launched the 2019 tax season, and those who earn less than R500,000 a year will no longer have to submit tax returns.
We've decided to increase the threshold from 350,000 Rand to an annual earnings of 500,000 Rand. And this means you're not required to submit a return if the following is true. 1, your total income for the year is not more than 500,000. 2, you only receive income from a single employer. I don't know why anyone wants to have more than one boss. 3, you have no other form of income, such as a car allowance, business income, taxable interest, rental income, or income from another job. Fourthly, you have no additional deductible allowances such as medical expenses, travel expenses, or retirement annuities. So when you have a simple return below 500,000 with no additional complexities, you will not be required to file. And we will send an SMS to this group of taxpayers who are not required to file. And we encourage taxpayers to heed this call, as it is intended to really simplify matters for you. Imagine not having to file a return and to be allowed to do so lawfully.
Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane has issued Minister Pravin Gordhan with a Section 7, Subsection 9 notice. She had announced the intention to do so on YouTube. So what does this mean, and what are the ethics of making such an announcement on social media? On the line, we have Gordhan's lawyer, Tebego Malachi. Very good to have you with us. What is your response to the Public Protector's announcement on YouTube?
Good evening to you and to viewers. Well, our sense of it is firstly, let's understand what we're dealing with. There's a process that's been much publicized relating to Mr. Pilay's retirement, the review application, and that's a court process that's underway. What we're now dealing with is a second investigation relating to the matter pertaining to the investigative unit, high-risk investigative unit of SARS, its establishment. And secondly, whether Minister in any way has violated members' ethic code. Now, our sense of it is that once the Public Protector had reached a stage, as she announced, that she believes that there might be potential wrongdoing on the part of the Minister, it is part of an investigating process and should have been dealt with as such. It is not a matter that is ordinarily announced, and we're still perturbed at why it was.
Yes, because you think that you'd be approached first, and you wonder what's the thinking behind doing it on social media, and what sort of impact do you think it'll have on you in the case?
Well, our sense of it is that remember that this is a duty she has under her own legislation, the Public Protector Act, to afford parties an opportunity to convince her that she may be wrong in the preliminary conclusions that she may have reached. Once she announced it in the manner that she did, it of course brings to bear the question that we must all ask ourselves: is this a foregone conclusion, and is she paying lip service to the right that we're supposed to have, a very basic right to fair and procedural justice, which requires us to convince her otherwise. And that announcement is out there, and before we even responded. So we think it will have a bearing ultimately on how the court looks at this particular matter.
All right, Tebego Malachi, thank you very much for talking to us.